All right, this is my top 5. This is mine. Like I said in my other video about the parking, this is just my opinion, but here we go. Top 5 reasons why new drivers end up quitting. In no particular order. This isn't one, the number one reason. This is the way I look at it. So, I would say a big one is not understanding what they're getting into. You think, I'm going to come here and drive, and it's easy, and it's just, holding the steering wheel, and I can make, just not understanding what you're getting into. And then they get out here, they realize what it entails, and of course, trucking is you got flatbed, tanker, heavy haul, reefer, drive-in. There's multiple different things that you can do in driving. And some are way easier, and some are way more physically demanding, and we know that. But I think one of the reasons is just not understanding what they're getting into. Let's go. Number 2 would be pay. They get told by these recruiters that they're going to make all this money, and then they get out here and they realize it's not very good, and that is a big shock to them, especially when you're new, and even when you've been driving a long time, you could still be working crappy jobs. It's a great job, don't get me wrong, but you have to understand you have to pay your dues. And I know there's those people that are going to say, like, well, man, I got my license and I went straight to owner op-in and I started making all this money, or I had a buddy that got me hired on somewhere. I get it. There are those, there are those things. Don't get me wrong. I get it. People fall into certain situations and they get lucky, but for the mass majority of people, they go through truck driving school. They sign, they end up going to some carrier and signing some contracts with them, and then they end up, hating it because they're making 30 cents a mile. But I've been driving almost 15 years. When I first started driving, I was making like 23 cents a mile, 24 cents a mile. It's garbage. But anyway, yeah, pay and just just that side of it is always one of the things that new people, because recruiters will tell you anything to get you down here, down to orientation and everything. But pay is a big one. Number 3 for me would be people getting homesick. Just people think they can come out here, new drivers think they can come out here and just be like, oh, I'm going to be out here. And then they realize, hey, I'm gone a month at a time, 6 weeks at a time. Some places are longer. But you know what I mean? Like, people just don't realize having just the, being able to go to the bathroom, take a shower, just, the simple things of going to a store and getting something to eat, or going out with with a friend or whatever. Like, it is a lot of drivers get homesick, and this one can go into that one too. I would say having a bad, let's say, home life, meaning boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever. Your mind is on that, and you're not really focusing in on your job, because you're more worried about your girlfriend or boyfriend or husband or wife running around and doing stuff, and then that whole thing comes into effect, and that can get people to quit. Because if you're in a relationship where you have to worry all the time and call them and always see where they're at, truck driving is a hard profession, because you have to have a good wife, a good husband, boyfriend, girlfriend. You have to have that. If you don't have a strong person with you, you know, in this journey, especially when you're first starting, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Yeah, that one's a big one. But I would say this is a big one. I don't know where I'm at, 3 or 4, whatever. But this next one is probably the leading reason why drivers don't make it, in my opinion, is training and the company they go to. If you go to, you know, like I had to go to a mega carrier, and I got lucky, beyond lucky. I got a great trainer, and he taught me. He had been driving over 20 years. He taught me how to do everything he could in 6.5 weeks. And it was funny, when I got done, he told me, he just looked me straight in the eyes and said, "You're not ready." He goes, "The company might say you're ready, but," he goes, "6.5 weeks, that's not enough time." But he goes, you know, we just, you know what I mean? You got to go. But he taught me everything. You know, everywhere we went, truck stops, I had a bag, shippers, I had a bag. I had to do the paperwork. I had to, you know, go interact with shippers, receivers, everything. I did everything. And it was like, I would be back here in the sleeper, and he would just wake me up and say, "Hey, you know, we're at the truck stop, back this thing in." And it's just like, you know, I know it's kind of unheard of, but he did it because he's like, "You're going to go into these truck stops tired, so it doesn't matter." So he had me back everywhere, and he just told me, just don't worry about, you know, everyone else's opinion, especially at truck stops or anything. But he was a great trainer, and I think that's what the industry is really lacking with these new these new drivers. They're thrown out here with guys that literally just want to make money off of them. Because, you know, you got a trainer that's getting mileage. He's basically getting team miles for having a trainee in there. You know, like, he can make money, because a lot of these companies, they just pay a flat rate to the trainee. They're not paying them mileage. That's not all of them. I'm saying there's always, you know, differences, but the mass majority are just getting a flat rate for their however many weeks of training. But yeah, you know, they're just using these guys that make no money. They don't train them. They don't show them how to do the basics, because I can tell you from firsthand experience, unless you go to a really good truck driving school, you learn enough to get your license. That's it. You don't learn everything else. But and equipment. You know, what's the one thing we need to do when we're out here? We need to run. We need to work. And if you're in crappy equipment and you go to a company that has bull crap equipment, you're going to be setting. You're not going to be making no money, and all the things I talked about above that are going to come into play. You know, you ain't making money, your home time, everything. So I think that's more than 5, but that's kind of my outlook on it. Like, you know, curious to what y'all think. But yeah, it's just, you know, I want new drivers to come out here and make it, but a lot of them have, you know, a lot of them just don't have the attitude to be out here either. You know, it's hard. It's nothing's glamorous about truck driving. No matter how much, you know, you see the really nice trucks, and don't get me wrong, the nice trucks are beautiful, and I give owner ops and the companies that have those trucks just all the props in the world, because there's nothing better than a Pete or a KW or, you know, Western Star or whatever. You know, just having a beautiful truck is nice. But at the same time, normally when you're just a company driver, you're just driving fleet trucks, and if people abuse them. If you don't get a new one, people abuse them. Even if you get a new one, you might get that lemon. But yeah, that's just kind of my my view on it. I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong on some of those things, but I've been out here, you know, doing my thing for a while, and I kind of got a feel for it. But yeah, just you know, that's it. And, don't really have much to say other than that. But y'all have a good one, and be safe out there.